Welcome everyone to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage, and today we're going to be having a look at Bitcoin. Let's get into the price action. Okay, so what we were talking about yesterday was actually coming up towards this zone of this 31127 to this 30786. So we did actually come up into this rejection area, and now we've rejected to the downside. So we got a couple of things we need to discuss. There's a couple of ways we can potentially count this move. We could potentially count this five-wave move as completed here with a fourth and a fifth. And then this would actually be a bigger 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. If that's the case, potentially we've got a completed move here. Or alternatively, this is a fourth wave here. We could see something like this play out where we actually look to extend up again in a 1, 2 here, and then look to push to the upside. So we've got to keep that in mind. We also do need to bear in mind the bearish count that we were discussing previously, that we were looking for the fact that, if we do complete this five-wave move to the upside like this, we need to stay above this 28,454. If we start to break down in more impulsive structure here, something like this, and then we look to break down in a deeper way, potentially we could be setting up for a flat correction here, where we have this whole move from further back here as A, B, and then still having that C wave down. The longer this takes to play out, the less likely this becomes, but I am still allowing for it at this moment, and we'll go over that in a second. But let's talk about this current move here. So if we have completed into this high, it's potentially possible then that, like I said, if we want to follow this count where we're looking at this as a fourth wave in comparison to this wave two here, I'm better with that idea than with this to this. But if that's the case, what we want to see is a nice strong, we want to see a fourth wave payout here, in my opinion. And then we'd be looking for this zone of this 29,353 to this 30,211 area as a support range. So potential zones of interest would be coming back into these lows here, which would also tie in with this 0.382 retracement. So I'm keeping an eye on this. There is the potential we could look for a direct breakout from here, so we're going to go over that. So one thing that we need to be aware of is obviously we're looking for extensions here because we're looking for the potential that, we are looking for, bigger structure here. In reality, for confirmation of this count, we need a much bigger move here, potentially up towards this zone here of this 38K 750. So that would be looking for that additional structure here. In the shorter term, obviously, we have some other targets. This 35,192, so that we could be a 1.618 of this as a wave three. And then basically, this would look to ladder us up into those higher targets. But as we can see here, this would currently fall short if it just came to this 1618. So what I'm looking for is the potential that we could actually see some extension within these, which looks to push us up towards this 38K region. Obviously, we haven't got there yet, so we need to see how it plays out, and the market doesn't move in a straight line, so we're always going to get retracements along the way as well. So this is why I'm on the lookout here. If we find a move like this where we get a three-wave structure coming back into these zones, and then we start to develop five-wave moves to the upside, what I'll then be looking to do is pair this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5 like this. And this would basically come into line with the count that we were discussing yesterday, which was looking at something like this. So saying that we could have a 1, 2, 3, and then we're looking for a fourth wave here. So this is why this is a key zone here. Potentially we don't want to, if we want to look at this as a fourth wave here, we don't want to lose this 29358, and we want to see this after it completes into these lower ranges here, potentially looking for this fifth wave to the upside. So given the current structure that we do have, I'm looking at a couple of things. And basically, what I'm looking at is the potential that for as long as we stay below this 30,777, that we could see something like this play out, where we have a possibly B wave that isn't completed yet, which could actually come down a bit lower towards this zone of this 30,279 to this 30,000 area, and then looking for, that C wave to the upside. If we do get something like this, A, B, C, what we would then be watching is the low point and seeing whether we actually look to break down from that again, and take out these lows of this 29,968. So this is going to be key here. Potentially, we have come down into this into this 30,000 area already, this 0.5. We've actually come and touched on the top end of it. So we could start to build up here and start to progress away from this zone, but there isn't anything indicating it at the current time. And even if we do move up here, I would still be cautious until we actually take this high point here of this 30,999 region. If we fail to take this high, what we could then see is basically even from this current structure A, B, and C, 1 to 1 would take us up to this 30,916, which could actually look to bring us back into this channel top here. And then from there, I'd be looking to see whether we have another reaction to the downside here, which could look to bring us back, into potentially the higher end of this move here towards this between this 30,215 to this 29,738. So this is the thing we need to be aware of. There is still potential here. We could see something like this as a B wave, find support in this 30,000 to this 30,279, see a wave up, and this becomes ABC, and then we look to move down. So currently, the 1 to 1 is actually here at this 29,577. This would be if we have a direct push to the downside, where this is just A, B, and then we're looking for a C wave. So that would be that zone there, and we can see that would actually I've got a trend line drawn off some of these highs from further back here. And basically, this would bring us back into this green trend line. So this is currently sitting towards this zone of this 29,548. So it's not too far below this. If this is if we want to look at this as a zigzag potentially to the downside, this 50% is quite often a target, which is this 29358. So if we do start to break down here, basically this is what I'd be looking for primarily is this top area here for support. If we lose that, we still have a potential bullish count here if we maintain this zone of this 29,353 to this 28,454. If we lose that 28,454, this count starts to become less likely at that point. So really we want to see, this continuation to the upside here and looking to break back above this high that we have here, this 31K. So we want to get back above there, and this is looking for that potential to actually come down first. The alternative way we can look at this, if we want to look at a direct breakout from this point, is I'd be looking at something like this, and I just need to turn on the other count here. We're looking at this potentially as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up into this high potential for wave two here for as long as we hold this 29,923, and then looking for that potential to form bigger impulsive structure here. So this would be looking for a direct push to the upside. If we did push up like this, and we're looking for that potential of another 1, 2 here, the target would be this 32K 430. However, if we do form a five-way move just with the current structure we have, what I would be looking for as a target would be this 31,312, and that would be looking at this just as a simple 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that would be without any extensions to this wave. So this would be quite interesting because this would actually take us up to this 1 to 1 area. If we do see this play out, it would also bring us into the bigger channel. And then, potentially this could be as an ending point. Obviously, this is speculative at the moment. We need to see whether these lows hold. If we hold this 29,966, we can potentially still look for this push to the upside here, but we don't really want to come lower than this 30,099. It is possible that there's still corrective structure going on here. So, we could still see something like this where we maintain this lower range and then this wave two just shifts over here. But really, we don't want to lose this zone if we're looking for a direct push to the upside. But there are a lot of, support levels below us. So we're just going to have to be a little bit patient with this one and see how that plays out. We need to always, obviously, be aware of the more bearish option that we have here. And this is what I was talking about earlier. The fact that we could have something like this where, let me just turn off this other count here, where from further back here we have this is an A, this is a B, and then we look for a C wave to the downside, which could look to actually bring us back into some of these lower levels here towards this 26,682. Obviously, we have quite a big range for this. And there's a couple of ways of working out these target areas. A 1.618 move would actually bring us back down into this zone of this 27,685, which would be basically a retest of this little support zone here. So I'm not ruling it out just yet. If we see something like this start to develop, we could see a move back down in here, and this whole move could be just basically ABC, and then we look to potentially move up from there. So this is what we need to be careful of. There is also the potential within the structures here that we could have a fourth wave within here. This is a fifth, and then we come back deeper, but only really by invalidating those support zones that we've talked about. Can we talk about that? Really, we'd have to break back down below this zone of this 27,216 to invalidate this idea of a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then looking to push to the upside. So, it is possible that we can have this direct push to the upside, but we need to see the wave structure come in. Until we actually get that confirmation, we just need to be aware there are other alternatives. The other way of measuring this, like I did previously, was basically to extend this to the downside here of this 1 to 1, not the 1 to 1. Sorry, there we go, extending this A wave down to the 0618, so 25.4. So if we do get a bigger push to the downside here and we do develop a bigger 5 wave move, this will be another zone I'm looking to keep an eye on in the future. So what would this look like? So it's all good me talking about it. Let's talk about what it would look like. So if we want to talk about this potential for having a C wave down, what do we need to be careful of? So what we need to be careful of here is the potential that we could see something like this play out, where I'm going to just throw this on here because lost the support. There we go. So for as long as we remain below this 30,775 to this 30,477, we need to be careful of the potential to break down one more time. So this could always just develop as A, B, C, like we've just gone through. However, it is possible that we could see something deeper where we actually come back up into this zone, potentially higher up here. It has met the requirement by coming up to the 0.618 already. So we need to just be careful. If we start to form something like this, another 5 wave move here, which then fails to break back above the high, potentially we could be setting up for a bigger structure down here towards this zone of this 28,965. And that would then give us, a 5 wave move to the downside here, looking at this potentially as a 1, 2. But we haven't broken these support zones. We've got some counts which have still got support areas. We're going to have to just monitor this. But we just need to be aware that for as long as we stay below 31K, this kind of thing can always develop, especially with the way we've dropped down here currently. I'd want to see a move back above this level for more confidence that, there isn't something like this slowly brewing up. Because we could see this develops, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then next thing we have a deeper push to the downside playing out here. So this is going to be key if we want to look for, that bearish potential. This is the one that I'm currently looking at. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find links to Discord. Check it out. It's free to join. Excited to see you there. So come on down. Everyone, have a great day.